Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are here for round number 6 of this McLaren driver career mode for the Canadian Grand Prix. Now the circuit Gilles Villeneuve is not my favorite and not one of my strongest tracks. So we'll see how we do. Potentially we can scrape away P10, but I think that will be rather unrealistic. You can see we're on our first qualifying lap. At the end, through the final chicane, we don't take any curb. Because the shadows made it really difficult where to brake and where the apexes are. So the first lap is a 12.1 and we're full second, I believe, off of our teammate. We then go again for the final run on the session. We're gonna go for a full lap. I'm gonna brake just before the darker patch on the ground. See, we completely miss the apex because we brake on the grass, have a big moment on the exit of turn 3, then brake just before the 50. Cutting both curbs nicely there, and you can see we gain half a second through there. Then brake just after the 100-meter board down to 4th gear. Use the curb on the inside more than on the right-hander inside. Reopen DRS and we're 7/10 up, so a solid lap so far. Braking after the black box that's hanging before the bridge. Bit of contact with the wall there as we are 8/10 up. You can see asking mark if we have damage. Into the hairpin, 3rd gear. Semi-decent rotation, but crucially we got a better exit than we did on the last run, and we're 9/10 up heading into the final chicane. We've got our teammate Lando Norris behind us, who's gaining massively on us with the help of slipstream, of course. Brake just after the 100, clip both curbs. We should have clipped them more, but across the line it's going to be a 1.1 second improvement, and we're going to go up to P18. So effectively we went down. Yeah, not happy with that. So we move into the race.
It's time once again then to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Magnussen, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Ocon and Mick Schumacher, Joe, Vettel, Lance Stroll and Sainz. They've taken a grid penalty. Tsunoda, Albon, Nicholas Latifi and McLaren, Hamilton and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It'll keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So here we are then on the grid for the Canadian Grand Prix. You can see we're going to select the alternate medium to soft strategy. And we're going to lower the fuel down to 18.4 laps, so plus 0.4. As we're going to head on to the formation lap and skip to the end of it, hopefully parking our car nicely. You can see Hamilton starting next to us, because I believe he's taken a grid penalty. So we're now going to try and line up the car. That's good. 0.5 meters. Here we go. 5 red lights for the Canadian Grand Prix, and we are underway for the 6th time this season. As we get a good start on mediums, Lewis and Gasly behind on softs, respectively getting a good start on the softer rubber. We're going to try and keep our nose clean and not lose too many positions as we push Lewis a bit wide to hopefully keep on. You can see we have a bit of a moment in the exit of turn 3 as we're going to go back down the inside of Lewis into turn 4 and we hold on to P18 for now. Then heading into turn 6 or 7, see we go past the TV but Sainz just turns in as we have a massive snap. So we're going to try and cover the inside, but you can see the straight line speed of the Williams. We have to defend the inside as we fend off the Canadian at his home Grand Prix for now. Next up ahead is Yuki Tsunoda, and we're going to go down the inside into the hairpin on lap number 1, and we're going to make that move stick up into P16. So again, a good start. Yeah, we're gonna jump onto the start of lap number 3, DRS enabled. As Alex Albon goes deep into turn 1, we kind of bottom out on the inside curb, so we almost lose the rear, but we still make the move stick. We're then gonna jump to the end of lap number 7, and we pick up a time penalty. You pick up a time penalty when you get 3 warnings, track limit warnings, extension or cutting. Then lap number 10, Sergio Perez flies past us with DRS, but we're gonna come into pit lane for our mandatory pit stop. So to try and nail this pit stop, 0.4 seems like the optimal point to press the button for an optimal pit stop. 2.2-second pit stop, but we get held by Yuki Tsunoda, so actual stop would have been a bit slower. Then you can see out of the pit lane, we're gonna be right alongside Zhou Guanyu, as he just about has his nose and so he can't go defensive, and he actually sends it into the chicane, but we managed to hold it around the outside and then the inside for the second part of the chicane. Then lap number 13, Hamilton half a second back, and look, we're not using battery, but he just uses the others, and the straight isn't even that long, but he just absolutely flies past us. And this is a reoccurring theme of not only my career mode, that the AI on the straights is just absolutely rapid, but they're rather slow in the low speed corners. So yeah, Lewis gets past, and you can see yellow flag. Lewis Hamilton has a mechanical failure right in front of us, and he is out of the race. So we instantly regain the position a few corners later. And yeah, you can see end of lap 14, got 4.5 seconds to the car ahead, 4 seconds to the car behind. I said there's no point continuing this race, so we retire and save the engine, and that brings an end to round number 6 and the Canadian Grand Prix.
And they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take the top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Carlos Sainz would be my first choice for this race. He had excellent race stamina, giving him the opportunity to charge through the ranks.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So that was it then with this episode. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel to help me out. All support is massively appreciated because I'm gonna try and get to 100 subs as soon as possible. Not the race we wanted, but Canada's not really a good track for me. And yeah, that's it, the episode done. Until next time, take care and goodbye.